There are people who chase destiny, and then there are people who simply drift into it. Paper Heron is the latter. She does not rush, she does not plan, and she certainly does not care where the road leads. If a mule is carrying her somewhere, that's good enough. If the wind changes direction, she follows. Destination, timeline, not her problem. Because to her, everything is already part of the Tao, unfolding exactly as it should. Long ago, Paper Heron cultivated internal alchemy, extending her life far beyond that of ordinary people. While others feared time running out, she had too much of it. Days became years, and years became decades. She wandered, observed, and cultivated at her own pace. And when everything she once knew eventually fell apart, she didn't resist it. She simply kept going, as if even loss itself was just another step in the natural flow of things. Her sect believed that even small kindness could lead to great harm, but Paper Heron never really followed that rule. She helps people on a whim. A stranger crosses her path, she helps. A spirit cries out, she listens. A technique ends up in her hands, she might pass it on just because she feels like it. Not out of heroism, but because it happened. Because if your paths cross, then it's fate. And if something comes to her, then it becomes her responsibility. But she wasn't always alone. She once belonged to a Taoist sect tasked with guarding the calamity beast, Lan Zu, a being of destruction. Their duty was simple. When the time came, they would give their lives, and when peace returned, they would be discarded. That was always the deal. Then came the war, a massive crusade against the beast. Her sect fought to the very end and still lost. In the chaos, a sacred ritual sword was broken, triggering a formation that froze the flow of qi itself. And Paper Heron, the most gifted disciple of her generation, was sealed inside a plum blossom tree. Years passed, then decades, until one day a bolt of heavenly thunder struck the tree. The frozen qi began to flow again, and she finally woke up. The world she returned to had already moved on. Her sect was gone, her comrades were gone. Everything she once belonged to had vanished. Only one thing remained, the final ritual sword, now in her hands. She had become the last disciple, the final inheritor. But her long imprisonment came with a cost. Her senses had dulled. She could barely taste flavor. She couldn't feel heat or cold. The world felt distant, flat, like touching stone. So she kept moving, partly to fix what she lost, and partly because she was curious. This new world was unfamiliar, and that alone was enough reason to explore it. And curiosity, for someone like her, never ends. Paper Heron learns anything that interests her. Street tricks, martial arts, strange techniques. If she has time, she'll pick it up. And she has a lot of time. Over the years, she's become something more than a Taoist, a collector of skills, someone who blends everything she learns into her own unique style. Paper constructs, beast taming, ventriloquism, even hybrid martial arts. And yes, she enjoys showing off. Sometimes she amazes people, sometimes she confuses them, and sometimes she's just teasing. She might claim she can split mountains or summon storms, but if you ask her to prove it, she'll point to a tiny ditch and say, "Isn't this a river?" Then hold up paper dolls and smile, "And aren't these soldiers?" To her, your reaction is the fun part. But beneath all that, there's a softer side. Her voice carries a gentle southern dialect that sounds almost like an incantation to outsiders. Most people don't understand it, but somehow it still feels warm. And there's one thing about her that's very clear. She loves sweets. Soup? Add sugar. Meat? Add sugar. Vegetables? Of course, add sugar. To her, all things are equal, and all things deserve sweetness. Paper Heron is not a hero. She doesn't chase justice or glory. She simply walks forward following fate as it comes. carrying what falls into her hands and letting go of what leaves. Because in her eyes, heaven moves as it always has. There's no need to panic. And in the end, everything will become what it's meant to be.